Can we pre-approve this, Brian, before you put it up?
So anyway, I'm sure we'll cover a lot of things that'll probably irritate people, and some guys will agree with. Because anytime you talk about this, there's like these far opposing sides of the fence, and there's some middle of the road. So
I just can't buy into the whole face paint thing. That's so
like special ops. You put it on, you just feel.
But then you got to wash your face.
And then when it came to the shot, it's like, oh my God,
Autopilot.
there's the shot. Autopilot, save me, right? Bung, and off the arrow would go.
And I answered him, but I'm asking you that question.
I want to hear your answer. No, I want to hear your answer.
This is Joe Rogan, and you're listening to the Gritty Bowmen.
If you take a Mountain Ascent, which is the lightest production rifle out there, in a 308, it weighs 4 pounds, 13 ounces.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
Right. And a 30-06 weighs 5 pounds, 5 ounces. So it's just super, super lightweight. But still, the stock design is fantastic. You can
The things the guys go through to shave like 16 ounces, and here you're shaving 5 pounds.
And of course, the Mountain Ascent lineup, they're carbon fiber stocks, and they're actually handmade, hand-laid carbon fiber stocks. We make them ourselves.
Can we hear you just fine? I'm gonna get that real close. Don't worry, it's been in a lot of mouths.
Awesome. And I love foam. Like, I hate foam. I freaking hate foam. It's like my thing. Like, the thought of this going in my mouth, I'm salivating excessively, and I like the pineapple.
You don't like foam?
No, that's my kryptonite.
Weird.
It is. In fact, it just touched my lip. I'm a little.
Okay. We pull them off and put new ones on so it should be pretty clean.
Oh, so I can lick it. Awesome.
I wouldn't do that, but
don't lick it.
Don't lick it. All right, folks. Welcome to the Gritty Bowmen podcast. We are at the SHOT Show.
Yeah.
I've been to a few shows. You see that delay?
Oh, I'm right there with you. You got to figure out where you are.
So we're at the SHOT Show in Vegas. I've never been to Vegas.
You've never been to Vegas?
Vegas.
Wow.
Let alone the SHOT Show.
That's shocking to the senses.
It's
is
a
it not?
little overwhelming,
Yeah.
especially when I live in the mountain town in Colorado.
Amen.
And it's out of my comfort zone.
Oh,
I'll just be
absolutely.
honest.
Yep.
We went to Pink's and got a hot dog. I'd never heard of it. I think it's called Pink's.
I have no idea. I don't.
Yeah, supposedly it's supposed to be an awesome hot dog. There's no such thing as an awesome hot dog. That's just my opinion.
That's my opinion too. I'm really not into hot dogs. So of all the things in Vegas, you guys went and found the hot dogs.
Yeah, some famous hot dog. And it did have a lot of famous people who went and got a hot dog. It's the hot dog that snaps when you bite into it.
Okay.
Look, it's still a hot dog.
It's still a hot dog.
Still a hot dog.
This is the town where you can go and get sushi with caviar and gold flakes on top of it. And you guys are going for the hot dogs.
I did have creme brulee last night, which was really good.
Fabulous.
Yes.
That's
so.
good.
I am here with Rachel Vandevoort, and we're at the Kimber, second level
Kimber compound, really.
Compound?
Yeah, our booth. Well, our booth is we have a big booth.
Yeah,
we have a big booth.
For those who don't know, I got a secret VIP entrance in the Kimber compound.
Yes, we're up in
and
the lounge.
There's enough food in there to feed a small army.
Oh yeah, you were in the back room.
I went in there and I gorged. If I had known that about that place earlier,
grazing in the back room.
Seriously, whenever I go on and I travel, I have a hard time finding places to eat where it's just healthy food, like normal food.
Yep.
You guys got the stuff going downstairs. It's like veggies and fruits and cheese and meat.
Yep, absolutely. And then we sprinkle a few Sour Patch Kids and some M&Ms in on that.
And some chocolate.
So you got to have some for everybody. Oh,
that's right.
It's Nick Hoffman, actually.
Did he make it?
Can Nick Hoffman sit in with us?
You bet, dude.
Yay!
Ready? I'm ready. We're back. All right, we have just been joined by Nick Hoffman.
I would say it's more like completely intruded upon. Yeah, it's a little more like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's okay. So, Nick, tell us about you.
Well, first of all, I'm a little more worried. Who was the last person on this?
We've already had this conversation.
Has it been properly sanitized?
It's new. Well, maybe some licks.
You're kind of a pro.
Yeah.
You look like you're familiar with the headset.
He is familiar with all this.
Will I or will I not get herpes from this?
You should. You should be clean.
I should be clean?
Like, this is a really clean show with really clean like Rachel.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, safe guess.
Because somehow...
Ooh.
Yeah. Anyway,
Okay.
moving on. Sorry.
Yeah.
Did you know she has a thing about foam?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. The thought of this going in my mouth right now makes me anxiety ridden. Whoosh.
I thought it was going to go a different direction.
No.
Never mind. Hey, look at the time.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh. Yes.
So we have Nick Hoffman here.
Yeah. No, we started out. We were talking about we're in the Kimber compound here,
Yes.
and we're actually upstairs in the lounge. SHOT Show 2017. but yeah, no, I asked Nick to come and join us because we're going to talk about stuff going on with Kimber and some
Yes.
hunting and all this kind of stuff. And Nick, we work with Nick, and he has a TV show called Nick's Wild Ride, and it's on the Outdoor Channel. And Nick and I have had some fantastic hunting experiences together.
Indeed.
And he shoots a lot of our rifles, and he's just an all around dang fun guy. So I thought
Good.
he'd be awesome to have on here.
And I'm a big fan of what you guys do too, so it works out. I was like, yeah, I want to do that, absolutely.
He of course didn't bring a fiddle or guitar to play for us, which is
No.
highly disappointing.
Yes, indeed.
Is that kind of part of Nick's Wild Ride experience?
It can be, obviously for me, I come from the music side of things. You know, I've spent my whole life playing music and hunting in between shows kind of thing, And bit by bit, as I met through music different hunting celebrities, if you will, or however you want to look at it.
Right.
I ended up on this badass hunt and that badass hunt, and one thing led to another, and we ended up. Somebody talked me into filming a pilot because as most great things do, they end up drunken conversation.
Right.
And I love Anthony Bourdain. I just, you know what I mean? I think he's amazing in what he does. And we said, well, I run around and drink beer and meet people and do things on a hunt anyway. So why not, just kind of follow me doing that.
Right.
And we filmed the pilot, and next thing you know, not only am I running around and playing music, but now I got a TV show too, which I'm not complaining about because I'm systematically checking off every bucket list hunt I've ever had.
So am I.
I'm having so much fun.
Me
You know
too.
what I mean?
I really am. It's kind of the same thing. The podcast, I started it, and I sort of did it on a whim. And once I started to get a few guests, and it just started to climb, and people enjoyed it. And then, now it's full time, and I'm just out hunting and having fun and hanging out with buddies, but it's a lot of work too.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
It's not like
As with everything,
I
people think it's all sunshine
people are
and
like,
roses.
dude,
and
that podcast got popular like overnight.
yeah.
Like, actually, there was like a year where nobody knew my name or that I did a show.
Yeah.
It is a journey. And then I was talking about I wasn't partying last night. Well, I edited for like 4 hours. I'm trying to get stuff out. And,
Exactly.
And if I don't take some time,
Of
even
course.
though, so it is still a lot of work, but it's
and we have
rewarding.
we have families, and everybody has their own baggage and their own lives. The beauty of what we do is, as cliche as it sounds, we live in the dream. Rachel has the best job in the entire gun industry.
I do. I have the coolest job.
Literally,
I do have the coolest job.
Literally, and we can talk about that
with
in
a really
second.
awesome, with a really awesome company. So it's just this win-win.
And and like you think about it like if 10 years ago, if you'd said I'd be having a podcast about guns in the outdoor world, I mean, like no, never,
no
right?
idea.
And I would have never thought I'd be having a hunting show, and in the end, you're looking at three people that are just living their dream. That's pretty cool, and
Grateful
happy.
to be
Yep.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I interviewed Rachel at the Backcountry Hunters and Anglers annual rendezvous. It'll be a year in April.
It was April. Yeah,
it
was right before I was leaving for New Zealand. So it was actually the end of March because I left for New Zealand in April.
And I think Rachel was one of the that was the first podcast we ever talked about guns.
Yep.
Because it's always been about bow hunting.
Bows.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And we got to know Rachel, which was really funny. And she's a firecracker. And we learned about gun porn and things like that. Things I didn't know about, So we learned a lot of valuable things.
You don't know about gun porn?
I didn't know about it. And so now
the short
I know.
gun porn. And
Yeah.
that was
Yeah,
the
that's
shocking.
right.
It's not long gun porn. It's short gun porn. Like,
Absolutely.
what? Yeah,
And
no.
the tinier the better for
Right.
some reason.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's
Little
true.
counterintuitive.
It's like the smaller they get, the more excited the guys get. It's the strangest thing.
No, that was cool. And it was the first time.
And it sparked your interest. I don't.
Oh, yeah.
We're like, gosh,
Like,
I
I'm
think
like,
I want to go do this.
Now I want to go on a rifle hunt. And
Yeah.
so,
I know.
and I did.
Isn't that beautiful?
And they're it's just unreal.
And here's the thing. Like, I've been gun hunting my whole life since I was a kid. I have shot pistols my whole life since I was a kid. And I've always been a Kimber fan, right?
Yeah.
But I've had one, or maybe I've shot one or whatever. But when I really dove into what these guys are doing and what they're not only the guns they're making, but their mantra. I mean, for us, it's all about we live this day in and day out. It's a lifestyle thing. These guys, they live and breathe this. Isn't just a company that makes guns. This is a company with soul you know, and Kimber is they're making the lightest production rifle on the freaking planet, and a pound makes a difference.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And your pack a pound is a huge deal.
And you know, and then it shoots flat out.
Well, what was you went out and you did your first rifle hunt. So what was it like for you? Yeah.
And before that, I'm gonna just say it. I used a Savage 30-06 that I got at Walmart for a few $100, and I used that for a long time. But it weighed, I think it was 9 pounds.
Yeah.
10 pounds, maybe a little more.
Yeah. No, you're right.
and then to put my hands on the Mountain Ascent and carry that, it was like, wow,
whoa,
where have you been all my life, right? It's like so light and feels so good in your hands.
Half the weight
of
what you were
bolt
talking
action, like everything is just precision.
Yeah.
The skeleton bolt was, and how light it all is, and I don't know. I've been shooting it a bunch, and it's just fun.
Yeah, and you don't even realize when I was in Alaska. I went on an Alaskan caribou hunt this year, which was basically like sheep hunting for caribou. It was high country, not migratory. It was rough. It's one of the hardest things I've ever done. So I had a Mountain Ascent 30-06 with a smaller scope, and then I had a 300 that I lent to a buddy. Then I had a 300 short mag with a bigger scope that almost the same gun, maybe about 3/4 of a pound heavier because of the bigger scope, different cartridge, all that stuff. So I carried the 300 Win Mag for half the time and the 30-06 for half the other time. That 3/4 of a pound over the course of a day was the difference between my shoulder being worn out and not from having it over the sling. And it doesn't sound like much when you say it fast, but when you hike all day with that thing over your back, it does. It makes all the difference.
Well, that's the thing is Aaron Snyder and I are talking about, guns and what do we use and what do you want to get? And Aaron is, he backpacks. He owns Kafaru. He's way into the whole getting up in the mountains and going on long treks. So he's always been weight conscious. He's a strong guy and he doesn't mind carrying a little extra weight if it makes sense. But he's like, I don't have to.
Why would you?
If I carry the Kimber, I don't have to have the weight and I'm not compromising on anything. And he spent I think 280 days or something up in the Northwest Territories, the Honey Butte or something, some guys he was photographing, and he spent that whole season out there. And Clay Lancaster just has I don't remember which one. He has a Kimber rifle.
It's probably Montana, I bet.
That's what it was.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he was he just loved that gun. And all these other guys would show up, and these clients that have a lot of money, and they'd roll in with some kind of fancy gun, and Clay was like, this rifle is everything I need.
Well, and you say they'll roll in with a fancy gun, and so again, you can go out and you can spend $12,000 on a rifle, and actually we threw this in. Peterson's Hunting did a feature on the Mountain Ascent, and it was it was called the light. Well, it was a lightweight mountain rifle, comparison, right?
I read that.
Yeah, and so they did 4 rifles, and 3 of them were custom rifles. Starting at $7,000 to $12,000, because the only guns that you can compare this to are 100% custom guns.
Yeah.
And so you've got those rifles, which are great. They're fantastic. They shoot. That's fine. This was still lighter than all of them, coming in at $2,000, the retail. Yeah. And so it was this is just a no-brainer.
It's shooting too.
And it's sub MOA guaranteed. Exactly. Right. So it's okay, well, so what did the extra $7,000 get you?
Right.
Right. So it's amazing. I mean, it's such a value too.
Yeah.
So, you don't have to have the super expensive rifle to get it all.
The first time that, so Aaron told me about it first.
Okay.
And so, it was kind of a dream gun for Aaron for a long time. Mm-hmm. Then I interviewed, Alan Bolin.
Alan Bolin. Yep.
And,
absolutely.
Lewis.
Bolin and Lewis up in, BC.
And we talked about their Kimber rifles a lot.
Yeah.
And so then it was on my radar again, because these guys are back there and they are weight Nazis. They really geek out on this
down
stuff.
To the little ounce.
Yeah, and down to I'm going to eat straight up keto.
This is why,
so I have less weight.
This is why backpacking, let me stop. This is why backpacking is just, it's not ever going to be my game.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. I just can't do without the food. Everybody's well, you're going to eat like 5 of these and you're going to eat a bowl of peanut butter that has a bunch of chocolate chips in it. And that's what, and I'm just like, oh, yeah.
But I hate to admit it. Here's my problem. Right, so I got to choose between having these 3 extra packs of food or bringing this whiskey. And I'm like, son of a man, I am gonna be so hungry. You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna
exactly.
It's gonna be
there are complications to backpacking, and these guys pick, their Kimber
absolutely.
for that reason.
Yeah.
And then again, like Clay, they're shooting long. They're shooting good distances, and they're mountain hunting, and they're getting the job done.
Yep.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
I'm leaving straight from here to the Blackfeet Reservation in Montana to go on my first mountain lion hunt.
Oh wow!
And I'm I'm taking a pistol with me.
Yeah,
I'm going to do it with an open-sighted 1911 pistol, and it's like the 10 millimeter cartridge, which these guys have really embraced this year as well in their new line is that's the other side of Kimber that everybody knows. And
right.
You'd be surprised how many people have said to me, I didn't know they make rifles,
Yep.
And what's happening is bit by bit, there's just like you're saying, there's this groundswell because they've got some new models that they're pushing hard and they're marketing it right. But second, great stuff finds its own legs. You know what I mean? And that's what's happening with the Kimber rifles. I mean, great products just find legs, and that's what's happening. You heard about it. And then you told somebody, when you go to Alaska, those guys are almost all of them are carrying Mountain Ascents.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's because it's the best thing out there. And then those guys, their clients leave and go buy Mountain Ascents.
Yeah.
And now they've expanded.
You're talking
the line.
about a significant weight difference.
Yeah.
It's not like little.
No.
And now the new, they've got a whole, a new hunter one that's the model, the Hunter, that is, geared it more like the deer hunter. It's got a clip in it. It's light as can be too, and it's ridiculously cheap and shoots sub-MOA as well. It's
Rachel,
unbelievable.
what does the Mountain Ascent weigh?
Yeah, well, it depends on the caliber family. So, and we may have talked about this before, just super briefly. One of the ways that we save so much weight and we can make such lightweight rifles is that we actually build the actions around the cartridge families. So, what a lot of manufacturers will do is they'll take an action that will hold like a 300 Win Mag, let's say, and they'll actually just block it off, right? And so you're always getting more gun than you need, especially if you're shooting like a 308 or something like that. So what we do is we actually have 4 different actions. And so we've got an 84M, 84L, 8400 short mag, 8400 Win Mag. And so they're just scaled around those cartridges. So if you take a Mountain Ascent, which is the lightest production rifle out there, in a 308, it weighs 4 pounds, 13 ounces.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
Right. And a 30-06 weighs 5 pounds, 5 ounces. So it's just super, super lightweight. But still, the stock design is fantastic.
The things the guys go through to shave like 16 ounces, and here you're shaving 5 pounds.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, a Win Mag. And it's so funny because, even when I was in New Zealand, I took a whole bunch of rifles with us. And I normally, when I was hunting around home, I was carrying my 280 Ackley in the Mountain Ascent. And that one, that weighs about 5 pounds, 5 ounces.
Yes.
And I hadn't carried around a Win Mag at all in a long time. And so I was actually going after the stag and was carrying a 300 Win Mag in the Mountain Ascent. Well, the difference, it's like the Win Mag is like 7 pounds and my other one's 5.5 pounds. It's like 2 pounds different.
And you're like,
and I'm walking there and I was like, whoa, gosh, it's a little bit heavier. And
that's what I was saying.
Like, that's weird. And she turns around, the guide, Stacy, she turns to me, she goes, oh, no.
Try this.
You stop your mouth. She goes, I just hauled around this guy's 300 Win Mag that weighed 14 pounds for a week while he bow hunted and just in case he wanted to shoot. I'm just like, shutting up now. Shutting up now.
Yeah, that's the difference.
But anyway, so that's one of the ways we can do that. And of course, we'll flute barrels, we'll flute bolts that we'll shave the weight off of them. And so that's just kind of a little, kind of insight as to how we do this. And then of course, the Mountain Ascent lineup, they're carbon fiber stocks, and they're actually, handmade, hand laid carbon fiber stocks. We make them ourselves. So it's very labor intensive, but in the end, you get the lightest stock and the toughest stock. I mean, they're bomber, the carbon fiber stocks. And we've really, expanded that a lot. And we were talking about that. Like you start out with the Montana, And that's our basic lineup. It actually comes with a carbon fiber stock that's green now. And then you actually step up, and we just introduced the subalpine.
This is the
this is the new baby
subalpine pattern.
Yeah, which we have to have a whole another conversation about that. We'll talk about the pattern next, but so yeah, we do this one, and then the Mountain Ascent. We also do an Adirondack. Adirondack's really kind of geared towards like the tight woods, Eastern Hunter. It's a shorter barrel, and then of course the Mountain Ascent lineup. So he was just talking about the Hunter. The Hunter is a brand new addition too, and these retail anywhere from about $1,700 to about $2,000 is where they fit in there. And again, the best value out there. But we were able to task our rifle engineer. A lot of people were like, "Hey, for as much as that's affordable, like what do you have in a better, another price point?" Well, we never felt we could produce something that was Kimber quality in that price bracket. So no, we're not going to do it unless we are the best, and it is absolutely of our quality. Well, our rifle engineer went in and he actually designed a patent pending stock for this Hunter, and it's a polymer stock. And so it's much, less labor intensive. It's more affordable for us to produce, but it has a honeycomb design actually in the forend, and so it alleviates any sort of forend, rotation or flexing. And it's a really, really stable, really secure stock, really bomber stock. So we felt that all the pitfalls of a polymer stock we have completely eliminated, and so we're producing this. And these rifles, same hardware, no threaded barrels or anything like that, but just standard hardware. But all the features, three-wing safety, controlled round feeding, sub-MOA guarantee, and it retails at like $8.99.
Yeah, and the kind of secret is you're getting the same action, same barrel as the Mountain Ascent, all that stuff. Just like half the price. Some of the bells and whistles, but for the most part,
you don't have all the bells and whistles.
Bang for your buck, there is nothing like it.
And it actually has a box magazine. Now that's the first time we've done a box magazine in our big game rifle.
I took it to Africa and shot plains game with it for 2 weeks. Yeah. And 0 failures. Shot the piss out of it. It was so much fun. Yeah. It shoots great.
You had a ton of questions about the Hunter. About that. So
a lot of emails and comments about the Hunter. People are very interested in it.
Yeah, and it's not quite as light as our carbon fiber stocks. Yeah. And the stock, of course, carbon fiber is just super bomber, but it's still a very durable stock. So from that entry price point, it's got, Peterson's hunting 2017 Rifle of the Year, and just got the Golden Bullseye from the NRA, from American Hunter.
Yeah, but who's counting?
And I think we had won another award actually this week too on it. And so, people are taking notice, and they're just like, oh, this is amazing. And, a lot of people, the number one question I got, as we're talking about this rifle is like, Kimber can't do a polymer stocked rifle. And I'm like, oh no, yes, we can.
Oh, yes, we can.
We came up with something that absolutely stands up to our quality and what we're going to do. So
their idea about it was just that that using that product won't give you the quality you're looking for. In the past.
In the past, exactly. And
how is it designed that it stays?
Well, and that's
is it like a secret now?
No. You can take the rifle apart and actually look at it. But where it is it's a rigidity issue in a lot of those polymer stocks. Okay. And so they torque, they bend. As a result, it affects the accuracy and things of that nature. And sometimes you don't get any longevity out of it. For certain reasons. But so what he did is he actually went in, and it's just like you look into a honeycomb where bees live, right? Yeah. It's got that honeycomb structure. Yep. So he put that honeycomb structure in there.
Throughout.
Yeah.
And it strengthens it.
And it strengthens it. Exactly. And so.
And keeps it light.
Yeah. Super light.
On top
super
of that
light.
too.
Yeah. So you don't get a lot of the bells and whistles or stuff like that, but you for sure, have a lot of features. So.
And I'm here to tell you, I spent a week and a half in Africa with it, putting it through its paces. The thing is a flat out a shooter on top of that. Yeah. I mean, I'm talking about, I was shooting stuff, 300-400 yards. I mean, I would trust it's as good as any.
Again, sub-MOA guarantee on all of it.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. 100%.
And I like the clip, the magazine system.
Yeah. The box magazine.
It's just really, really handy as well, which is also different from any other rifle you make, which is really cool too,
And that is one of the ways we had saved it. It's a blind box magazine. So
what's what's the advantage, disadvantage to that? As I'm not the most experienced gun owner.
Exactly. So what I'm talking about is, this is where the magazine is, right? Where their extra rounds sit in here. And this is a blind box. So there's no access from down here. On our Classic Selects, the really gorgeous, wood guns, you'll see a little lever right here and it actually folds open. So there's extra floor plate that comes so you can get everything out. And then a box magazine, it's actually, I should go grab a hunter rifle is what I should do. It actually
I think I have a 243 that has one of those.
Oh, okay, perfect. And so, it just comes out of the bottom. And so, again, it's faster reloading if you want to reload. I really
so you can have multiple have them already loaded, and you just swap
and then
them
it's
out.
also it's ease of unloading, right? So if you're going to get in and out of a vehicle, you can just pop that out, and you don't have to make sure and push stuff down. Again, I've never hunted with a box magazine before we did that, and so for me, I didn't feel like I was missing out.
I hadn't
but once
either,
you have
and
it, it's
I really
great.
liked it.
Yeah, it's great.
But that's cool.
Yeah. So, and then obviously we talked about the pattern. Like, this is the subalpine rifle that we're holding right here. And actually Loophole is doing matching optics for it. So it's actually an anodized scope. So we're selling those now too. Which, gosh, the scope is it's the first time I've ever had a dialing turret. So you can actually, they program it for you based on your ammunition and everything. And that's the first time I've ever shot a turret like that. Oh my gosh, it's so amazing. It's like cheating.
But you're a gun person.
It's cheating. Well, and here everybody's like, oh, you must have all your rifles all dialed in and tricked out and all this stuff. And I'm like, I never get a chance to spend more than one hunt with a lot of these rifles, right? Because we're doing new products. We're doing, we're doing new stuff together. We're going to, do this scope with that. And so I don't have time to go and do all of that. And so I'm really good at the holdover. I just have my ballistic band on there and I just know what the drop is. Yeah. And so this was the first time.
You grew up hunting. Like your whole life.
I did. Yeah, I did. I remember being like 12 years old and I was out. I'll tell a random story.
Yeah.
So 12 years old and my dad's like the ultimate whitetail hunter. I mean, he's just, I love him. He's like my best hunting buddy. And we hunted a lot of whitetail together. And I remember my stepmom was along. My dad was up scouting this one area and we could see him up on the ridge and he's flagging us like, come up. Because we were checking out another area. So we stopped and we, hiked. It was, probably a quarter of a mile, I guess. We get up there and he's like, I got a great whitetail spotted out. It's like just getting dusk. And I'm like 12, 13. Well, how would I was like, probably was like third year. So I'm like 13, 14 or something like that. And so we're standing there and I'm like, and he's like, okay, he's got his 270. Like I always shot 270. And this deer, my dad, of course, is just from so much experience. He doesn't have a rangefinder, right? Like, well, I don't think anybody used rangefinders. Right. That's like, what's that back then? But he's like, that's about 400, 430 yards. He's like, you make that shot? I'm like, oh, we'll find out, right? And so, like, get down on a stump, and he, like, literally, he's like, he just knows how far it is. And he's like, okay, you're going to hold 1 inch above his back. Like, he just, okay, squeeze the trigger off, heart shot, drop. Just like that, like as...
Thanks, Dad.
Thanks, Dad. I was so spoiled. I think
there's a lot of people that aren't familiar enough with their guns,
right?
Oh,
in a practical sense, to do that kind of thing, and to hear about someone doing it is kind of scandalous. But it's sort of like it's just like hunting over the recurve, right?
I was just going to say the same thing. And the truth is, it's compound bows too. That how many people do we know that literally pull their bow out the day before or even the morning of, and shoot a couple arrows?
When you get yardages nailed and you know what you can do and how effective you are, it's just a different thing.
Your confidence goes up so much, and it's the difference between
and it's the confidence factor, absolutely. And it was one of those things where look, I've got ballistic bands, I'll hold over and everything, but my buddy at Loophole, Shane, and I were headed down there to do a coos deer hunt and mule deer hunt, and he was like, "Hey, let's."
And I was supposed to.
And he was supposed to be there, but it didn't work out. We were super bummed. But I was hunting with these all fall, and we was producing content and doing photo shoots and doing all that kind of stuff. But he sent me the dials, and I was like, I'm pretty leery of this. I'm like, this was weird. I don't trust it. I guess I didn't trust the equipment. Yeah. But of course, just go out to the range and spend some time. And I put that thing on, and I dialed, and I was like, 200, 300, 400. I'm like,
doink,
and
doink,
it's just
doink.
like, perfect. And I was like, wow. Like, that's crazy. That's awesome. But still, cool. And I shot a little bit more, and I still was feeling a little bit like, I don't know if I trust it. So when we were down in the Snorin, across the border, we were out predator calling. A lot of the guys had shot their coos deer, and they're amazing. And so they're like, hey, let's go predator calling because that actually pulls in mule deer, which was the coolest thing I've ever seen. But we got down there and, so we were set up on a stand for predators and we were calling stuff in and a bobcat came in. At 326 yards, there is a bobcat sitting.
That's a long way.
Sitting out there. It's just like
that's a little
this
teeny
little
target.
teeny target. And I was like, can I? He was like, yeah, shoot it. Like, let's shoot this. Ranged it, dialed. And I'm like, this is the ultimate test, right? I've got like this tiny little 5-inch plate down there. One shot, boom. I'm not even laying down. I was in the sitting position.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I'm a real big fan of the dial. I am such a fan because it just instantaneous.
It also takes that extra wonder out of your head. All you do is focus on the crosshairs.
Yep.
That's it.
Just focus. Yeah. It's really, really amazing. So I'm pretty pumped about it.
The pattern.
Yeah. Okay. The pattern. Wicked.
Yeah. Why?
Wicked.
And are you going to do any other patterns?
Well, we do all three of their patterns. Well, we do all three patterns. We do the open country.
Oh, I have the Optifade.
Yep. And then we do the Adirondack in their elevated 2 pattern, the kind of the whitetail geared pattern, which that's what that gun is kind of geared around. Yep. And so the subalpine they're geared a lot towards mule deer and elk, things of that nature. And so this again features are obviously great.
That subalpine stuff, I just was hanging out over at Sitka and going through all of it. It's pretty sick, man.
It's sick. Well, and I mean, you can dive into the pieces that they've picked and the features, but the pattern itself, I was super stoked to have it all season long. And I went from fall time in the Rockies down to winter, all seasons, and then went into the desert, which I was looking at it and I'm like, oh, maybe it's a little too green. Maybe it's no. Everybody was losing their minds about what a fantastic pattern it was. And we were just shocked and blown away at how amazing it worked. So
it's funny.
Really
it's funny what
it.
happens when you put a little science into something.
Right. Yeah.
Go figure.
So no, it's a fantastic pattern. They did a great job with it. And the pieces that they've got the lightweight archery geared, stuff. Beyond that, super lightweight pants that were great. But all the way down to I was all geared out for elk hunt.
So you used it and you used the women's line.
I did use the women's line.
You're one of the lucky people that got
special
people.
I guess I should mention that Sitka is now doing a women's line, which is fantastic. First Light started doing a women's line a couple years ago, and I've been hunting in their stuff. And let's be honest, I'm the size of an average man. Okay, so it's not like I was swimming in the men's gear. It was fine, it's really nice to hunt in pants that the crotch isn't down to your legs, and then the waist is up above your belly button. And you're like, whatever. Deer don't care, so I don't either. But no, and so
it's nice to have a women's line.
It's really nice, but and more than it's nice to have a women's line, people have been making women's gear for a long time, and quite honestly, it's very inadequate. It's no, guys, it's just the guys' gear with the different, it just fits different. There's nothing, and so. Yeah, so Sitka's come out with really, really great functional pieces, and we were hunting some really hot weather. We were hunting some freezing cold weather, and the rain gear and everything. It's just nice to have real gear that fits.
That's what's cool though, is to see the pattern on the weapons too.
Yeah. You can 100% disappear.
It's kind of weird, the way it is today. My dad would, kind of laugh about having a matching camo gun, binos, and camo, but you know what? We live in a world this year. I mean, in this day and age where we can do it, so why not?
We're a little bit gear. I'm a total gearhead.
I am too. This is the first year too that I get some stuff sent to me, and I walk out for my hunt in Alaska, and I literally am head to toe. I look like a Sitka model. Everything is the same pattern.
I mean,
I was kind of felt a little silly, and also I was like, I feel pretty cool right now. I do. I gotta admit it. I feel pretty damn cool.
We make jokes about we saved up and bought our first set of Sitka gear off a Camel Fire. It didn't fit right, or it was the color was printed wrong or something. But I remember it costing me a fortune at the time. That was back their second year in existence, and we would make jokes about saving it till the end of the season because we didn't want to get any holes in it or anything.
This is my going out camo.
this is picture day camo.
Exactly. This is picture day to dinner. This is,
Otherwise, it was the Cabela's special most of the time. And I was making fun of my buddy because he's so frugal, so careful about his money, and so he bought the Sitka gear, but he never wore it because he didn't want to ruin it. I'm like, dude, you got to get over that. This is what it's for.
This is what it's for. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is what it's for. Have you? And actually, they've got some new backpacks out. Did you have a
They're
chance
really
to?
I haven't looked at them.
Oh, geez.
They're nice.
Yeah, for a day pack, I was super impressed. Like a
Yeah.
super light little
Yeah.
weight, little tiny backpack.
I
mean, I've got big bags, but yeah, pretty cool.
I'm checking it all out. So
Nice.
Guys, I got to get going.
You do?
But I will say this.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, thanks for coming
Thanks
on.
for letting me crash your party. So,
All right.
Thanks, guys.
We're going to keep
Thank
talking
you.
about guns. You
Yes.
guys do some business.
Yeah, I want to ask you about the handguns.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. We'll
Yeah.
totally get on
I'm
to
taking
handguns.
mine, mountain lion hunting.
Yeah.
Taking my
yeah.
10
Good luck on
millimeter.
that.
I can't
Good
wait.
luck on
yeah.
that.
So,
It'll be super fun.
all right. We'll see y'all later.
Cool.
Bye.
All right.
So yeah, handguns.
Yes.
Awesome. Oh, what did I just bump?
No, that was
Oh,
nice.
perfect.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, we were touching on that. We were talking about bear protection. Is
Yes.
really what we're talking about.
Because I get this question a lot.
Yeah.
Bear spray
Right. And we talked
or
about that.
handgun. We
Yeah,
talked
we
about
talked
that
about
on our earlier podcast.
And you know, with whatever, I'm still an ardent. I'm adamant about the bear spray. Right. A lot of times, those encounters that you have with bears, it's not the bear's fault. Right. It's not literally trying to eat you. This is a self-defense thing. It's reactionary.
And what do you know about the effectiveness of bear spray compared to a handgun and so forth?
Oh yeah. Well,
share that.
okay.
Like,
So
just share it again, just so.
here's my philosophy. Here's the Rachel Vandevoort philosophy of bear protection. And whatever. We all have our own
Yes.
thoughts and techniques about it. But so bear spray works. 100% works.
Yeah.
And if there's anybody who doesn't know about bear spray, it's a larger canister of
Yes.
very, very strong pepper. And what it does is it basically, when you pull the trigger, and I always recommend, if you have an expired thing of bear spray hanging out or something like that, go out in the woods and practice. Absolutely. And we always do that. When we have an expired can, and go and shoot it, but it creates a curtain in front of you. I mean, it's
like a wall.
It's a shotgun blast, and it's a shotgun blast, and it stops them. It stops them. You hear about certain instances where it might not as much, but whatever. But all the experiences that
very
effective. And so my thought is that you have a bear charging you. There are very few people other than Ryan Callahan that can keep their cool that well around.
Smell us now, lady.
Smell me now, lady. So I'm like, oh, Cal, I love you. So again, when you have something charging you like that, what are the if you are a great shot, when you shoot a bear charging at you, just the nature of the beast, it's still going to get you. Unless you make a brain shot,
right?
It's still going to get to you, and it is still going to chew on you.
Right?
Is it going to chew on you? You could still die, and it could die.
It might take 60 seconds or 5 minutes to bleed out.
Exactly.
And in the meantime,
you're being munched on.
Right.
Or you miss it altogether. Let's be honest.
That's the other thing. That's the other thing is, to me, to pull a handgun and then to accurately execute a good shot while being charged, that's a lot of wits, a lot of practice. And if you don't have a lot of practice with that,
right.
It's not like – so I would prefer – in that situation to have a giant shotgun, so I don't have to aim as well.
Well, and I have a tiered system here, right?
Yes.
So I would I always carry a bear spray. I'll carry bear spray, but I also carry a handgun as well.
Yep.
Because there are instances, and we saw that happen this fall with that gentleman who was attacked. There were instances where you get the bear away with the bear spray, it wears off, and the bear is there, and something's wrong, and it's going to come after you again, or situations like that, or other situations arise. Yeah. And so that's why it's really important, I think, to have a backup, right? And a lot of times you hear stories a lot about people who are like, oh, I just have my rifle. Well, the rifle is slung over their shoulder, or they can't get to it, or it's in a scabbard on a horse, or again, you have a rifle too, but a lot of people carry a handgun for self-defense. And so when we sat down, we always think about, hey, what would be our dream gun in a 1911 platform, which is what we do so well.
Correct.
What would that gun look like to be a a camp protection gun,
right?
Or to have in camp, even just kind of a thing you walk out of the cook tent or whatever. And so that's where we came up with this, actually, the Camp Guard 10. Which is really cool. It's like all of us sitting around the campfire at night. Like this is really what we came up with, and this is why I'm actually stoked about this gun. So the Camp Guard 10, and actually you'll notice it has Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation grips on it. This is actually a banquet gun for them this year, and special serial numbers. And it's an inline product for us, and a portion of every sale goes to Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation's conservation efforts. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a really awesome way for us to provide a tool that is being asked for and have it help and do good all in the same time. But what we like about this, and I get a little bit lazy, we're at SHOT Show here, and these are all, we should all be cognizant of firearms safety. These are all cut firing pin. These are not live guns. So they just do not have the capability of shooting. So I'm being a little bit lax with my firearm handling skills. I don't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable. But again, we have no magazine here, and you can see here that we have nothing in the chamber. Just we'll go there because we're going to be looking at this gun. But yeah, what it is, it's a full-size 1911, and full-size 1911 in a 10 millimeters means 9 rounds in every magazine. So full-size here. So this frame right here, this is called a rounded heel. This is a rounded heel frame for us. And what that does is it takes a little bit of it off, so it's able to actually fit in the palm of your hand, and a little bit better than maybe a full-size. And a smaller hand can fit on this as well. And so the rounded heel, it allows you to control the recoil a lot more, and it just feels really good. Additionally, oftentimes if you're going to carry it, like say you're carrying it right here, this is a rub point, right? This is a rub point if you carry like on your belt or something like that, waistband.
If it's a sharp corner.
Yeah, exactly. And we're really good at that. Obviously, we do a ton of concealed carry, so we know all kinds of great tricks like carry melts and things like that to prevent rubbing against you. So if you're out in the backcountry and you're carrying it on your hip, you don't have to worry about it rubbing or, doing anything
Digging
like
in.
that, which is really cool. So a great feature with lots of benefits here. You've got front strap checkering on it, which I feel is really important. Keep good purchase on the gun. Tritium night sights. So tritium night sights are awesome. This is actually radioactive substance in here that glows all the time.
Nice.
Like 14 years. And so these night sights, if you've never had an opportunity to look at night sights, it's really cool. They're super, super bright. It's like lights, like shining, and they're awesome. So you've got the night sights. You've got thumb safety here. 1911 has a lot of internal safeties built into it. It's a very, very safe firearm to carry. But we'll get to that. And then this is a 5-inch barrel. Flat top slide, and it's in 10 millimeter. Okay, so 10 millimeter is what is known out of a semi-automatic handgun as to be a good stopping round for bears or other things of that nature. And it just has better penetration and a little more power than most 45 ACP, so it's just a more appropriate caliber. Yeah. So yeah, these are the features on it. It's very cool. Have a look at that. Gosh,
how much does that weigh?
I believe it's how much is? Oh, here, wait, I have a cheat sheet.
Nice.
Wait, I've got my catalog right here. This is great. I think it's like 28 ounces. Hold on here. Don't quote me on that. But it feels good in your hand, right?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it feels really great in your hand.
This is a, it does make you feel a little safer.
Yeah, tiered system.
You've got it.
Yeah, exactly. It is a steel frame, obviously, because, it is a 10 millimeter and a full-size gun. But, yeah, it's cool. It's got great features, and it's just a really fun, exciting project that we're working on.
I'm curious, as you, you talked about drawing the weapon.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're out hunting and you have this tiered system, how do you like to carry it?
So I will usually carry it, like, on my hip.
Yeah.
Yep. So bear spray is on one side, and then a pistol is on the other.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I personally carry it. You'll see a lot of folks up in Alaska. They wear chest rigs.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
That's what I wondered.
Yeah. A lot of people will
that would be I like binos there though.
Oh, right.
So I don't like to put that there, but I realize
I think that there's some product development that you and I should probably do with some folks.
Yeah.
No, and again, the guides in Alaska, I think, face a lot more imminent threat on a lot more readily than a lot of folks. So they really have to have it like right there.
Yep.
And it's not that in Montana we face the same challenges and everything. Yeah. But yeah, we carry it. I'll always carry it on my hip.
Okay.
Yeah.
What holster do you like to use?
There's a variety of different holsters out there. There's all sorts of Kydex holsters. There's all kinds of, leather holsters. But
what does Rachel like?
Oh, we've got leather holsters. So I've got a Galco, right? It's and it holds multiple sizes of 1911. But the thing that I like about it is it actually has the little the strap that goes over the top of it. Especially in like a hiking and hunting situation, you all the time are like really actively moving and could potentially be rubbing up against stuff. The one thing I was going to talk about with the 1911 is 1911s are actually designed to be carried cocked and locked. Okay. And what that means is you literally load the gun, load one in the chamber, and put the safety on. It's designed to be carried loaded. So all you have to do is draw the firearm, put the safety off, and shoot. You either carry it that way, or you carry it with, nothing in the chamber, nothing in the chamber, hammer down with a magazine in it, right? But then you have to draw, rack, and go. So you can do that either way. The reason it's such a safe firearm to carry, cocked and locked, which was really when I started carrying 1911s, it was kind of unnerving for me. Like I was like, oh, I don't know if I like the idea of that. But once you understand the internal workings of a 1911, you realize it's actually one of the safest firearms to carry.
Okay. I admit I'm intimidated by firearms.
Yeah.
Like, it bothers me when someone else has a firearm and they're walking behind me. We're stalking a bear, and I'm like, because I don't know if they're going to keep their head when the bear's...
That's good. No, exactly. But that's a healthy attitude to have, to be very conscious and understand.
Well, we've all been around the guy who's like waving his gun around. And you're like, dude,
please
like,
stop.
Why are you like this? Like, we have these conversations about gun safety.
Yep. And as you should. And I hunt with a lot of different people. I take a lot of editors, writers, people out on media hunts, and I hunt with, buddies obviously too.
Right.
And I'm an in-your-face gun person. As far as safety goes.
Yeah.
I've never hunted with you. I don't know how safe you are. And we're all going to have a little powwow right here. And because you hear the stories, and I don't want to be one of those stories. And so completely. I'm definitely, and no one should ever shy away from this. And if somebody has a problem with someone approaching them, being like, hey, I'm having a hard time with your gun handling skills right now. If they have a problem with you saying that, you don't need to be hunting with them. You don't need to be around them because they have a serious problem. This is like, it's a dangerous thing.
Life and death.
It's life and
death.
It
really
death.
Is.
And so I routinely will be like, hey, everybody, just so you know, this is how I will handle this. Before I get into a car, I let everyone know I'm unloaded. Hey, I'm unloaded. And I want everybody to tell me that they're unloaded too before I get in that car and go someplace else with you. And then same with, I'm constantly watching where this muzzle goes. Yeah. Constantly. It's whether like the guy's walking downhill in front of me and the muzzle's pointing up. No. Hey, guy, this situation right here, you need to take it off your shoulder. You need to put it down.
The other way.
My gun's going to go this way. It's constantly in my head. And just even, on this last hunt that we did down in Mexico for coos deer and mule deer, there were a lot of us there and carrying. And I was really very much, like, hey. And we're all very experienced hunters and very experienced firearms owners. And you can't let your guard down at all. And there's been numerous times where I've been, I'll correct somebody, but the people that I hunt with, thank you for telling me. Thank you.
Yeah.
Like, thank you for stopping me.
That's what you want.
Those are the people you want to hunt with.
I'm taking a bunch of gun safety and gun training classes over this next year.
So fantastic.
And I'm pretty excited about that. Because I've really never had a lot of formal training, just, military friends or I have some friends that are police officers that have had a lot of training, and they've kind of shown me a few things, but it's not the same. So I'm excited to do that. But yeah, I am. I'm always a little nervous when I'm with someone, and I don't know how much gun safety or gun awareness that they have. And
there's nothing wrong with asking them.
Bugs the heck out of me when it's someone who just is not careful.
Yeah.
It's so jarringly offensive. Like, come on, dude. Like I come unglued.
And that's fine. And you shouldn't apologize for that at all, ever. I mean, that's the way we need to be. Everybody needs to be really conscious about that. No.
But you're saying this has some safety features built into it.
Yeah, absolutely. So a 1911, so let me turn it around this way. So this right here is a manual thumb safety. Okay.
Yes.
So literally safety on, safety off. Okay. So that's actually going to stop everything from happening right there.
Yeah.
Well, even when the safety is off, this is what's called a grip safety. Okay. So when this is out, there's actually internal safety mechanisms in here. And so this one actually has two different safeties. There's a sear safety and a trigger bar safety. When you grip it, it's called a grip safety. I just deactivated those. Okay. So if
the safety was turned off
for catastrophic
on the switch.
failure, it's amazing, right? Okay. So even if you have this, even if this, like, let's say I brushed up against like a brush or something like that, and it like pushed this off and I had no idea, and then a twig came in and got caught here,
it won't go.
It still won't go. So if you watch, and then let's say, see how you push the grip safety here. See how I let it go?
Yeah.
So, and also, a lot of them actually have even a firing pin block safety in those in Series 2 firearms, and this is not a Series 2. But yeah, and so the reason that was designed that way is it's for catastrophic failure. So let's say it gets dropped, like somebody has it in their hand, and or it's a struggle, and
Hits a
in
rock
and they would drop down like that. Even in catastrophic failure, it would go down and jar everything. There's all sorts of internal safety mechanisms that stop it from going bang. So it's so if you have a cocked and locked gun just like this, sorry, I'll turn it the other way. So cocked and locked, one in the chamber and this on. There's actually 3 different safeties, depending on the series, 3 or 4 different safeties internally that are keeping this gun from going bang. So, and there's great diagrams. 1911 it's a gun that's been around for over 100 years. And so there's a lot of great information.
And you guys are just the best.
We crush the
you really
we crush
are.
1911s. we have beautiful, like great functioning, 1911s. They've got great features, great benefits. They're the best out there. But you go online, and actually there's tons of diagrams, like interactive, like the working parts, and it'll like take you through. It's like,
kind of break it down.
Here's what a grip safety does and everything. It's really interesting.
So you guys also have wheel guns though too.
We do. And actually that's
and how old are those? Like a year old?
Yeah,
or?
brand new. We stealth launched that last year, which was
and you have
really
a
fun.
pepper blaster thing.
We do. Yep, self-defense. So we call that our less lethal option for human self-defense, and that's our pepper blaster.
And it's sort of like it's like a gun that's a
literally, and that's the pepper blaster is a saucy, sassy little product. I don't most people don't get excited about it, right?
Yeah.
So it actually most people are familiar with like mace. So they've got this little like aerosol spray can.
Totally.
And we all know what that looks like coming out. It's like hairspray, right? You understand. Yeah. You can understand. And actually, in Lands and Grooves, we produce a magazine called Lands and Grooves once a year.
Lands and Grooves. Okay.
We actually did an article that actually shows you what they look like. So what the actual, like a cone delivery system, a stream, a foam. So these are the different delivery mechanisms. And then down here is a pepper blaster. The pepper blaster actually travels out of this thing 113 miles an hour.
Dang.
And so what it is, normal like a foam or anything like that. It actually, those are contents under pressure. So it's actually aerosol, right?
Yeah.
And so as a result of that, it has to be indexed properly. Mm-hmm. It freezes. It'll blow up in the heat. And it doesn't deliver it super quick, so it's affected by wind and rain. And it can be dodged occasionally, depending on the product, right?
Yeah.
And
especially if they're a few feet away.
Right, exactly. And so with the pepper blaster, it's literally like shooting a gun. So you've got like little cylinders.
Yep.
Little cylinders, 2 shots in the pepper blaster. And when a person pulls the trigger, it actually is a firing pin's actually hitting a primer. It's charging some black powder, creating pressure, and that pressure pushes a plunger forward and pushes that viscous liquid. It's a very viscous liquid out at the person, 130 miles an hour. So no one can really dodge it. But it's a concentrated burst. You got to aim it at the head, and it is super, super potent. If you're looking for a fun time, just Google like pepper blaster aftermath. People, because inevitably, like some of our dealers have been like, "Well, we wanted to test it out, so we paid our gunsmith $100 to be the guinea pig, and he let us shoot him."
Is it worth $100?
Oh no, every time. And the worst one, this gal came in when I was in sales, and she was like, and she's telling me this story. She's like, "Yeah, we paid him $100, and he was like the guinea pig because we wanted to see, and so we shot him." We shot him in the face, and like what happened is he was like in dire like pain, and
of course,
and so he went over to the hose, and he just started doing this, and it caused all the pepper to run down his body into his junk, and he had like 1st and 2nd degree burns on his junk. It really works. So I get stories inevitably, and people are they're like want to do like product demos and stuff like that,
right.
And it's pretty intense.
My wife has a few things like that, and she's super interested in it because I think women in general, a lot of them like to have something like that. Don't necessarily want to pull a bullet in someone, but and with this too. One of the complaints I've had with pepper spray and those things is if someone's coming at you from 10 feet away, 20 feet away, and you're like, look, that's far enough, or you're uncomfortable, I don't really want my wife to wait till someone's a few
2
feet.
feet, right. So the Pepper Blaster actually has a reach of out to like 12, 13, 14, 15 feet.
Yeah.
Like it reaches out there and touches something.
I like that.
And that's really cool. And also we were talking about how it's not a contents under pressure. And
Yeah.
so because there's no aerosol in there or anything like that, it's not going to freeze. I've actually had folks stick them in freezers before
Yeah.
and freeze them overnight, and they'll pull it out. And they said that it shoots just like that.
Yeah.
In the heat, if you leave it in your car, you don't have to worry about it getting 120 degrees in the summertime because it's
Right.
not going to blow up. And then because it's delivered so quickly and because of that viscous liquid, it's not affected by wind and rain as much as other products.
Right.
So it's a really handy little tool.
Have you guys thought about making something like that for bears?
No.
No.
Mm-mm. It's a
No market
nah,
or
well, there's people that do that really, really well.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
this
true.
This is designed. I mean, this is the quantity and the volume and the delivery system that's effective on people.
Yeah.
And we actually have had a lot of people use it for dogs as well. A lot of cyclists. It's actually very popular in the cyclist market
Oh, yeah.
because they have a lot of dogs chasing them and stuff and attacking their legs.
interesting.
So
Yeah, yeah.
that's actually been a really popular, outlet for that.
Got
Yeah. And we were talking about wheel guns. Sorry, you brought up wheel guns.
Yeah, I am.
We do a revolver.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Yeah, K6S. It's fantastic. We launched that last year at SHOT Show. Wildly
They're
popular.
super cool. I think they're super cool,
Yep.
man.
Yeah, it's so funny. Everybody's like, "Man, you guys are making revolvers cool now," and I'm like, "Well, that's the idea. Well, that's what we do."
Yeah.
It is the smallest 6-round 357 cylinder on the market, and so it's very. As a result, it's very.
I ran
slim.
a bunch of reviews on it, and people were talking about
Nice.
it.
And 357 is an effective cartridge against, bears and things of that
Yeah.
too. So that's 100%,
And I've, from what I understand, I'm not a big gun guy, but typically you can't hold 6 rounds in the ones that they try to make so small and all.
most
of
of them
that.
are 5 round and
Yeah.
then, or, it's 6 round, but it's much bigger. But ergonomics, and that's the thing is it's all about ergonomics. But the I've never been traditionally a great revolver shooter.
Yeah.
I'm not a great pistol shooter in general, but revolvers, because of a double action trigger, it usually builds up what we call stacking. It builds up, and
then
because
goes.
you're doing that, you're not like
your hands
yeah,
moving
yeah,
the
exactly.
gun.
And so we designed this trigger totally different. So it's got an internal hammer. It doesn't have an external hammer. So it's a double action trigger. So it's cocking and shooting at the same time. But it's a non-stacking trigger that's almost stageable. And so because of that, you can maintain such control even when shooting 357 because you're not moving. You're just going straight back. And when it goes bang, it's like shooting a semi-automatic with a great trigger, which
Wow.
1911s have fantastic triggers. There's a lot of plastic guns out there that their triggers are like, they're not enjoyable to shoot. So yeah, it's between the ergonomics, the way it fits in your hand, the way it's going to project the recoil down into your hand rather than over the top of your hand, what that produces muzzle flip. And the more muzzle flip, the harder it is for you to get back on target another time. So it's going to get it's going to get all that recoil down into your hand with the trigger pull. It is amazingly accurate. I mean, it's so easy to shoot. It's really accurate. Like I was shooting 357, that's a powerful round in a little, it's a 2-inch barrel. That's a lot of bang in your hand.
Yeah,
I'm not going to lie. Okay. I'm not going to lie. It's a lot of bang.
Little
But
explosion in your
most of
hand.
most folks that own 357, it's versatile because you can shoot 38 out of it. And 38 is like a joy to shoot. I mean, like it's just smooth and easy to shoot and everything. So yeah, it's a fantastic revolver. People are very, very happy with it.
Well, I'm excited. I like all your stuff. Where can they get this Lands and Grooves?
Yeah, Lands and Grooves. So that's my newsstand magazine, and it also has our catalog in the back of it. And what this allowed me to do, I work on this with the folks that produce guns and ammo.
Yeah.
And it's an awesome project, a fun project, because what we do is we know the topics that we want to, people are asking about, like, what message do we want to deliver? Like, what stories do we want to tell? And so
Right.
it's a great way for me. I get to work with them. I go and pick the writers, and I say, hey, I want to do a piece on carry. Like, how should you carry stuff? So
'Cause this is a stout little magazine.
Oh,
here.
it's beautiful. Yeah. And so
Yeah.
in the back, it's our catalog. You can get it on newsstands right now. So anywhere you
Okay.
find like guns and ammo and all that stuff, you can get it on newsstands. You can also go into Kimber Master dealers and they'll have copies as well. So, it's a really fun piece. So there's lots of information in there.
Well, awesome. This was awesome. Thanks for coming on the podcast, talking stuff. and-
love that you're talking about triggers and guns now.
Yeah,
This is pretty fun.
I'm gonna get into it a little more,
is
so
pretty
I'll
fun.
probably be hitting you up again.
Yeah, absolutely. If you ever
All right.
have questions, if I don't know the answer, I absolutely will get it. I try not to lie to people. Occasionally it happens. I don't intentionally do it, but yeah. It's good.
Okay. Well, thanks, Rachel. Stay gritty.
Yeah.
Friends, hunters, outdoorsmen, lend me your ears. Please take this moment to listen to this excerpt from the Gritty Bowmen film, Back to Traditions. Despite our ever-changing, ever-indignant world with its growing ignorance of and indifference to the ways of the wild, I remain a predator, pitying those who revel in artificiality and synthetic success while regarding me and my kind as relics of a time and place no longer valued or understood. I stalk a real world of dark wood and tall grass stirred by a restless wind blowing across sunlit water and beneath star-strewn sky. And on those occasions when I choose to kill, to claim some small part of nature's bounty for my own, I do so by choice, quickly, with the learned efficiency of a skilled hunter. Further, in my heart and mind, I know the truth and make no apologies for my actions or my place in time. Others around me may opt to eat only plants, nuts, and fruits. Still others may employ faceless strangers to procure their meats, their leather, their feathers, and all those niceties and necessities of life. Such is their right, of course, and I wish them well. All I ask in return is no one begrudge me, and all of us who may answer the primordial stirrings within our hunter souls, my right to do some of these things myself. What you just heard is a quote from M.R. James. We truly live in a world that is largely ignorant and indifferent to the ways of the wild. And although some regard us as relics of a time and place no longer valued or understood, we have the opportunity to change the way these people view the hunter and the hunt. We can share our experiences and nature's bounty with those who employ these faceless strangers. And by so doing, we make a difference, not just for ourselves, but for the wild animals in the wild places we care so deeply about. Never stop sharing your passion for hunting and the outdoors. Our wild animals and our wild places depend on it. We want to thank Kifaru, Mountain Ops, Hoyt, Vortex, Phelps, Black Eagle Arrows, and Crispy Boots for supporting the Gritty Bowmen. We love these companies and the people behind them. They truly make fantastic products. Please support them whenever you can. And as always, good luck on your hunts and stay gritty.
This is Ty Stubblefield, and you're listening to the Gritty Bowmen.
Gritty Bowmen.